Hello everyone and welcome to the Cleats Off podcast. I'm your host Liz Bhandari and this is a show that brings you closer to the game you love. Today's guest is Maria Gigante, Vice President of Events at NFL UK. Now Maria and her team are the people behind the success of our London Games, NFL UK live events and more. Enjoy the show! Welcome to the show, Maria. How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really well, thank you. Really appreciate you taking the time out to speak to us today. Now, I understand you've been with the NFL for a long time, but perhaps you can talk me through how you started with the NFL through to where you are today.
Sure. Yeah, so I think I'm going into my 27th season with the league. I started right out of school and I was a receptionist. So we were on Park Avenue. I started in what they called a fishbowl at the time. And my job was really to buzz people in, to take people's names and to set up meetings. And then I got a lucky break. I sat next to a woman who worked for the VP of the department and she needed some help. So she started to pass work over to me and slowly but surely I got more responsibility. And then she moved on to a different position and I kind of worked my way into that spot. So I was an assistant for a couple of years and then just got some different opportunities and fell into events. Another advantage of the NFL is it's kind of an all hand. Well, it was when I started, but it was all hands on deck. So everybody got involved and I was able to get involved in some Super Bowl planning. And then it just springboarded from there. I kept my assistant position, but kept doing extra work and got into the events world and did some Super Bowls. And my first international experience was a trade show in Monte Carlo. So, so it's all been really good. I've planned NFL preseason games overseas. So in Japan, in Germany, I did the first regular season game in Mexico. So again, just really evolved. But 27 years ago, yeah, I was a little girl from Staten Island that got a big break.
That's really cool. You've obviously, covered a variety of roles in different areas. What is it about events that made you want to pursue that area?
I like seeing things come together. I'm very coordinated and structured in my professional life. I wouldn't say in my personal life, but I like to see the finished product and I'm very comfortable behind the scenes. I don't necessarily like to be in front. I like to be behind the scenes. I like to be putting things together. And I just like the energy of live events and being under that pressure. And then, ultimately seeing the finished product is the best feeling.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that one. Were you lucky enough in your career to have had like a mentor, be male or female, that supported you through your journey? And have there been any female role models that you've looked up to?
Yeah, I'd say there's definitely been a few female role models in particular at the NFL. When I first started, it was a very male dominated world, and we finally had a woman president come from NFL properties. And, she kind of started in my position as an assistant and worked her way around. So I got to know her a lot. And I wouldn't say she was a true mentor, but she totally, she was an inspiration and she was very kind to us. And she was kind to me in particular and took me aside and gave me some really good advice. One of my true mentors was my first boss, a guy called Jim Connolly, and again, gave me some really great opportunities, took a chance when he didn't have to, and gave me some great support and really helped me, get my, push my way through the ranks. And then just I guess the past couple of years, as I've gotten more involved in football and the actual game, a woman called Dawn Aponte, who's worked her way around the league, has been with teams and has been with with the league in various positions and is with the league now. She's from Staten Island. She understands where I grew up and how we grew up, and she's been really great, very supportive of me and my career, and has always encouraged me to make decisions that are right for me, no matter what other people think. And she's just been great and very supportive. But I mean, the league itself, I would say you will find a lot of great support and people around you that want to see you do well.
No, I think that's really good. And, like you say, it was very much a male-dominated area. And now there's definitely more women in like high positions, more than ever, I would say. How important do you think it is to have that kind of, I guess, balance? And what advice would you give to a female who is looking to, climb the ranks and take that position?
Well, I think it's really important because I think it's always great to have varying perspectives and a lot of diversity across your senior management team. I mean, the advice I would give is don't ever give up on yourself and always take yourself seriously, and always be confident regardless of who you're up against. And never, one of the things that I struggled with in my younger days was always comparing myself to others and wanting to know why they got something that I didn't. And as soon as I focused on myself, and as soon as I focused on my career and what I wanted to achieve, is when I was able to advance. And it was I wouldn't say it was easy, but it was certainly much clearer to me on how to do that and how to get ahead once you just focus on yourself and not worry about what others are doing.
That's such good advice. Like you said, you're from Staten Island. How was that transition going from doing NFL in the US to, I guess, moving to London and being part of NFL UK? Like, how was that transition?
It was certainly, it was a gradual transition. So I started the games in 2007. So working from the US and traveling probably 2 and 3 times a month, to the UK. And it was difficult because I worked with a great group of people in the UK, but not a lot of the people that actually sat around me in my office in the US worked on the event. So it was tough to be alone in that regard. And once I moved over to the UK, it was a lot easier and it was a lot better. And I found that I really could grow into the role. So in terms of the transition, I transitioned permanently here to the UK in 2014. I am now a UK resident, so I passed my indefinite right to remain test, and my children have just moved over. So it's kind of come full circle. So a lot of patience to get here, a lot of hard work, but I feel like I'm finally at the right place, and the transition has been complete.
That's brilliant. And what do you think have been the biggest, I guess, differences between how things were at NFL in the US to how they are here in the UK?
I think it's still a very corporate environment, but obviously being on Park Avenue in New York City, at our headquarters, and it's an extremely corporate environment. It's great to work for the league in the UK and have more of a small office kind of startup feel, if you will. So you still get the power of the NFL and all the great stuff that brings, but you can still be very, you could still experiment. And we have, we've definitely stretched ourselves and kind of pushed the limits when it comes to trying new things. And I don't think you'd necessarily get that opportunity back in the US.
Yeah. And we've seen a lot of change over the years in terms of how the London Games are played. We've gone from having 1 game to now 4 a year. What would you love to see happen in the future?
I would love to see a full season of games. So 8 games. I'd love to be able to bring teams, different teams over and play through to complete a season and to potentially do a training camp. I just think that the market's ready for it. We've sold out our games since we started playing in 2007. And I really feel like that would really set us apart from all the other sports that are playing internationally.
Yeah, definitely. I think it'd be really exciting. Now, obviously, your role, director of events. What does it take to organise the London Games? The process, I guess, from the moment that you've been notified that the schedule through to game day itself.
Yeah, so I mean, we start with the teams, so that's always the most important thing is preparing the teams. So as soon as we know the team, what teams are playing, I'll usually get a phone call and it'll be, okay, what happens? What do we do? How do we plan? And I'll take my team and we'll travel to the US and we'll just, we'll take the group through everything related to playing a game, what the league provides, what their responsibilities are. And then we just roll right into it. We start meeting with our facilities here in the UK, making sure that all the preparation's ready. We've just we announced a deal with Virgin Atlantic, so we've locked in our partnership for our charters, which is a huge piece to the puzzle. So it's really starting with the team itself, and to make sure that I understand what their ambition is for the game. So there's teams that'll come over and they'll use this as their wives incentive trip, or a trip that they're going to bring all their sponsors to, or a thank you to the staff. Or there's a team that'll come over and it's really just a road game and they want to stay completely focused and there's no extracurricular stuff that goes on. So it's all really dependent on how they want to treat the experience. And from there, we create a world and a planning environment to help them achieve that.
And what does game day look like for you? And is there a point where you can actually relax and enjoy it?
It's funny. So game day usually starts, no matter what time kickoff is at about, 5 a.m. And you're up, you're out, you're at the stadium. It's about checking that everything is done. I mean, at that point, I feel like if my day is stressful, then I haven't done my job. So at that point, everything is rolling, everything is as it should be. And, there's stress and there's last minute adjustments, but if we've all done our job, it's about just, sticking to the schedule and having everything work the way we wanted it to work. So it's really just walking around, checking, making sure that everything is going well. And then I'd say when I can relax really is when you get the phone call from the airport at Heathrow that the plane is taken off and the teams are on their way back to America. But there's definitely ups and downs during game day. I mean, certainly when the game kicks off, that's a great feeling because that at that point, that's what's important. They're playing the game on the field, and everything we've done to that point has been successful, and now it's on them.
Yeah. And what are some of the biggest challenges that you've faced in organising the games?
Biggest challenges, I guess. It's really when it comes down to the team itself and making sure that whatever they need and want, or the way they operate in the US, we can replicate here in the UK. And because it's such a different beast, because there's 180 people in their travel party and there's 53 players, and it's not just a pair of boots and a ball. It's equipment, it's helmets. So it's about making sure. I mean, the biggest challenge is just making sure that you can replicate as best as possible the training experience and the prep for them here so they can be successful.
Yeah. And obviously this year the games were cancelled and for perfectly obvious and understandable reasons. How far along were plans for the games this year, and I guess before that decision was made to cancel?
I mean, we were into a pretty good rhythm with the teams, and we were pretty far down the line with planning. So we had our hotels confirmed and our practice facilities. And to be honest, what the lockdown actually forced us to do was to think of a new way to prepare the teams, and to not have the lack of travel be a barrier. So we introduced a new planning process where everything was virtual. We created a microsite that housed all the information on stadium and hotels and training facilities, and basically took the teams through everything we would have, but virtually. And I can't speak for the teams, but the feedback we got was it was a great way to plan. They felt comfortable. They didn't feel like they would be at a disadvantage should we have played those games, and the only time they would have been able to come over would have been this month. So we were pretty far down the line, and I think we stumbled into something that hopefully will help us be more efficient in the future. Yeah. So when something bad happens, hopefully something good comes out of it. So there you go.
Definitely. I guess we never really found out who the games were going to be here in the UK. I don't reckon you'll be allowed to tell us.
Probably not.
That's not too.
No.
So obviously with that cancelled, is there anything that you're working on this year that's going to, I guess, be in place of those games that maybe you'd like fans to, I guess, keep an eye out for?
I mean, we've just done some really exciting things on the media front. So we've announced a new Sky deal, a new 5-year Sky deal, a new opportunity with Channel 5 and the BBC. We are looking to do more work in the community space. So hopefully I'd say by November, December, we'll be able to announce something there. But in general, we're taking a look at the business and really trying to plan for 21 and to make sure that 21 is a success. And then focusing on our partnership with Tottenham Hotspur. So in a year without games, how do we still take that partnership to the next level? So we're working on some things together with them for Black History Month coming out of this month, and I think it's going to be a really exciting time for us just to see how things evolve and how these new media deals support the business.
Yeah, definitely. I think we're certainly lucky as fans to have, I guess, more choices on TV and more coverage of the game than ever. So no, I think it's a really exciting time to be a fan of the game, really.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully there's more eyeballs on the game that'll want to buy tickets next year when hopefully the world is back to a better place.
Yeah, definitely. Now, you don't just organise the London Games. There's a lot that happens throughout the year that you also work on. I'd love to hear more about that too.
Yeah, so I kind of get involved in a lot of different parts of the business. So working right now with our commercial team and building out an event strategy for our partners. So, trying to work with our partners to see what they want to do with the brand and why they're partners with NFL and how we bring their brand to life through, whether that's through events, whether that's through content or different campaigns throughout the year. As I said, we're working with Spurs on some charitable initiatives for Haringey and Black History Month. We are working behind the scenes again to get all the planning and protocols in for COVID for next year and supporting the US guys a lot. So my team and our operations team have been involved in a lot of the work that the stadiums are doing in the US, trying to get those games played. So, you think it'd be a calm time without games, but it's certainly not. I long for the days that we can produce events like NFL on Regent Street and the events we've done on Piccadilly. But we're working on some really exciting opportunities for partners. So hopefully we see that happen in the next couple of years.
Yeah, definitely. My first game in London was 2014. So I think it was the last time that we did Trafalgar Square, but it was such an amazing experience to kind of, I don't know, just like all of a sudden the players from like Atlanta Falcons are walking right past you, and it was such an amazing moment. So yeah, I'd love to see that kind of stuff back again. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, hopefully we get there.
Definitely. Now, if you could pinpoint, like, I guess 2 or 3 moments, I guess your career highlights to date, what would they be and why?
I'd say one definitely, maybe if I can show, one definitely is when I met George Bush Sr. So unfortunately, after the devastation of Katrina in New Orleans, the Saints weren't able to play in their stadium. So they came to New Jersey and played in MetLife Stadium. And I had Secret Service duty. And I was with ex-President Bill Clinton and George Bush. And that was one of the most amazing experiences I've ever had. Just because of what we were doing to support the community and what they were doing specifically, but then just, to be given that opportunity to be amongst that group was very special. Yeah. And then, I think the first game we did in London, I don't know if I could say this, but I'm a Giants fan. And, they played over in 2007. And my dad, who wasn't well, was able to come to the game. And, he was part of that experience with me. So that was certainly a great moment for me in my career. And then, I just think that, the more we do, opening Spurs, I mean, that was a labor of love. And to see a game produced to that level in that environment was really wonderful.
Yeah, definitely. Tottenham was really special this year. Like that first game. I mean, I was up in the gods, but like the view that I had of the field, especially like the whole, I don't know, like the lasers with AJ Tracer, that was amazing. Like I couldn't get over that.
That was very nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I bet.
I think that was a very nervous point in my career. I almost didn't watch, to be quite honest with you, but there you go.
Yeah, because if someone was on the field, it would stop the lasers, right? Yes,
yeah. We had a very anxious groundsman on the Chicago Bears that really wanted to get back onto the field.
Wow. Well, listen, it's been really fascinating to hear your story today, Maria. I really appreciate you taking the time to speak to me.
No problem. Thanks for speaking to me.